Have you ever wondered what your ancestors did without grocery stores, without refrigerators, restaurants, or even farms? How did they feed their families when every meal meant risking their lives? What would your morning look like without a bathroom, running water, or toilet paper? How would you communicate urgency without phones, plan without calendars, or heal without medicine cabinets? Today, we follow an Ice Age family through their food quest, where breakfast isn't guaranteed, lunch doesn't exist, and dinner depends entirely on skill, luck, and courage. Where a successful day means your children eat, and failure means they don't. If journeys through humanity's daily struggles bring you the same wonder they bring me, if you find peace in understanding how far we've come, please consider liking and subscribing to follow along for more. And if someone you care about might appreciate drifting through our ancestors' world as they drift off to sleep, why not share this gift of perspective with them? I'd love to know where in the world you're listening from tonight and what time you're settling in for this journey. Leave a comment below. Let me know what corner of our modern Earth you call home. And if there are other moments in human history you'd like to explore together. Other ancient lives you'd like me to share. Tell me in the comments. Your suggestions guide our future travels. But for now, let's leave the modern world behind. Settle in now. Let the weight of your day become a distant memory. Breathe in the quiet of your room, and with your exhale, let the present moment gently drift away. We are not bound by clocks or calendars tonight. Together, we will step outside of time, to a place I remember well, a world waiting in the deep past. I am the Chrononaut, and I have drifted through the ages like smoke through still air. Tonight, I invite you to join me on a journey, not forward, not back, but deeper, into the memory of Earth itself. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Feel yourself becoming lighter, untethered from this moment, ready to slip between the seconds and find yourself in a time before time was counted. Come with me now. Let us cross the threshold together. We arrive in the middle of morning, 45,000 years ago, in what will one day be called southern France. But there is no France here. No countries, no cities, no roads. Only the eternal dance between humans and the wild world that feeds them. The air tastes different here. Cleaner, sharper, carrying scents that will vanish from Earth. The musky sweetness of vast herds. The green complexity of untouched forests. The mineral purity of streams that have never known pollution. Each breath fills lungs with oxygen richer than any you've tasted. Air so clean it almost sparkles in the slanted morning light. I find myself invisible among Drax's hunting band as they move through the frost-touched forest. But first, let me show you how their day truly begins. Not with alarm clocks or coffee makers, but with rituals that connect them to the living world around them. The morning awakening happens gradually, naturally, as the first pale light seeps through the hide walls of their shelter. Bodies stir in perfect synchronization with the dawn chorus of birds. No jarring electronic beeping, no rush to silence devices. Instead, the gentle progression of night into day calls them slowly to consciousness. Drac opens his eyes not to a ceiling, but to the hide roof of their winter shelter, where frost crystals have formed in intricate patterns during the night. He can read these patterns like you might read a weather app, the size and formation telling him the night's temperature, humidity, wind direction. This morning, the crystals speak of stable weather, good hunting conditions. He lies still for a moment listening, not scrolling through messages on a phone, but reading the morning messages of the natural world. The bird calls, tell him the night predators have retreated. The quality of wind through the trees indicates no storms approach. The distant sound of a stream suggests the freeze hasn't deepened. Water still flows. Animals will come to drink. His body knows the routine without conscious thought. First, the bladder's morning pressure must be addressed. In your world, this means stumbling to a bathroom, flipping switches, sitting on porcelain. Here, it means careful movement to avoid waking others, slipping on leather boots lined with rabbit fur, stepping out into the crisp morning air. The urination spot is downwind from the shelter, downstream from their water source, away from their food storage areas. This isn't random placement but careful sanitation engineering. They understand contamination principles that won't be discovered by science for thousands of years. The ground here is sandy, well-draining, and they've arranged rocks to direct any flow away from living areas. As he relieves himself, steam rises in the cold air, and he reads even this for information. The color tells him about his body's hydration, health status. Too dark means he needs more water today. Clear means good health. Blood would indicate problems requiring Uma's healing attention. Every body function carries data in a world where survival depends on understanding subtle signs. Returning to the shelter, he finds his wife Pila already awake, her internal rhythms perfectly attuned to his. They've lived together 12 years, and their biological clocks have synchronized in ways modern couples, separated by artificial light and individual schedules, rarely experience. She's already nursing their youngest, 2-year-old Kess, her body automatically responding to the child stirring. No formula exists here, no bottles, no scheduled feeding times. The child eats when hungry, and Pila's body adjusts milk production accordingly. This isn't primitive but sophisticated. Her milk changes composition throughout the day, providing different nutrients and antibodies as needed. The nursing happens in peaceful quiet, surrounded by the gentle breathing of the extended family. No privacy concerns, no need to retreat to separate rooms. Breastfeeding is natural as breathing here, witnessed by children who will someday nurse their own babies with the same casual confidence. Drac kneels beside his sleeping brother Cree, touching his shoulder with the gentleness of long practice. No shaking, no urgent wake-up calls. A soft touch, a whispered name, allowing consciousness to return gradually. Cree's eyes open immediately, but without startlement. This is how hunters must wake, alert but quiet. "Good weather for the hunt," Drac whispers, his voice barely audible, but carrying clearly in the still air. The deer signs from yesterday. They'll be moving to the winter browse. Cree nods, reading the same atmospheric signals. The wind holds steady from the west. We can approach from the ridge. This exchange contains more information than entire modern weather forecasts. Wind direction matters because deer scent humans from incredible distances. Weather stability means animal behavior will be predictable. The winter browse refers to specific plants deer seek when their preferred foods become scarce. Knowledge that requires understanding dozens of plant species and their seasonal availability. Young Tam stirs at his father's movement, his 8-year-old consciousness emerging from dreams where he ran alongside wolves and spoke with speaking stones. Children's dreams here blend naturally with reality, both filled with animal spirits, plant teachers, and the constant presence of natural forces. "Can I come on the hunt today, Father?" he whispers, hope bright in his voice. Drac considers. Not a casual decision, but careful evaluation. Tam's tracking skills have improved dramatically. His ability to move quietly through the forest rivals that of adults. More importantly, his understanding of the hunt's spiritual dimensions, the need to approach prey with respect, to take only what's needed, to honor the animal's sacrifice, has matured beyond his years. You may come to the tracking grounds, Drac decides, but when we close for the kill, you'll wait with the supplies. The boy's face glows with pride. Being included in any part of the hunt represents a significant milestone. Soon, perhaps next year, he'll be allowed to carry a spear, to participate in the actual killing. For now, observation and learning suffice. The three males begin their morning preparation ritual, each movement deliberate and meaningful. First, the fire must be tended, not with matches or lighters, but by carefully blowing life into the banked coals from last night. This fire has burned continuously for 7 months since they established this winter camp. Letting it die would be catastrophic. Starting new fire requires enormous effort and isn't always successful in damp conditions. Drac adds specific wood to the flames, not random fuel, but carefully chosen pieces. Dry oak for steady heat, aromatic pine to repel insects, birch bark to create bright flames for seeing details. Each wood serves purposes beyond mere burning. Knowledge accumulated over generations of experimental observation. Before the hunt can begin, the hunters must fuel their bodies. But breakfast here bears no resemblance to your rushed morning routine of coffee and toast consumed while checking emails. This meal represents careful nutritional planning, designed to sustain intense physical activity for hours. Bila has prepared what they call hunter's strength, a concentrated mixture of ingredients chosen for their energy-giving properties. Ground hazelnuts provide fats that burn steadily through long exertion. Dried berries offer quick energy sugars that will fuel initial hunting movements. Powdered roots contribute complex carbohydrates for sustained endurance. But the preparation goes deeper than simple nutrition. Each ingredient carries spiritual significance. The hazelnuts were gathered during the time of falling leaves, when the tree spirits released their gifts willingly. The berries came from bushes that survived the harsh winds, proving their strength. The roots grew deep in Mother Earth's body, connecting the hunters to her sustaining power. The mixture is bound together with rendered bear fat, not the industrial shortening of modern foods, but pure, clean fat from a bear Drac killed last spring. This fat provides caloric density impossible to achieve with plant foods alone. A handful of this mixture equals the energy content of a modern energy bar, but with the crucial difference of being perfectly adapted to human metabolism. They eat slowly, deliberately, understanding that rushed eating leads to poor digestion and reduced energy. No scrolling through phones, no distracting conversations about work schedules. Instead, they consume their meal in focused awareness, tasting each component, feeling its effects on their bodies. Tam receives a slightly different mixture, less of the intense fats that might upset a child's stomach, more of the sweet berries that provide quick energy without overwhelming his smaller digestive system. But like the adults, he eats with full attention, beginning to learn how different foods affect his body's performance. Between bites, they discuss the hunt strategy. Not casual conversation, but tactical planning based on accumulated intelligence from recent scouting expeditions. The deer herd has been moving along predictable paths, following routes carved by generations of hoofbeats. Water sources have partially frozen, concentrating the animals around remaining open streams. Wind patterns favor approaches from specific directions. This discussion includes knowledge invisible to modern hunters. The phase of the moon affects deer behavior. They're more cautious during bright nights when predators hunt easily, more relaxed in darker periods. The recent weather patterns influence where deer seek shelter and food. Even the emotional state of the hunters matters. Animals can sense tension, fear, or inappropriate eagerness. As they eat, Pila prepares traveling food for the hunters. Not sandwiches in plastic bags, but portable nutrition designed to survive hours of difficult travel. Strips of dried meat wrapped in leaves treated with antimicrobial plant compounds. Pressed cakes of nuts and dried fruits that won't crumble in leather pouches. Water carried in clean bladder bags that won't leak or contaminate. Each food item is tested before packing. Pila tastes every piece of dried meat, checking for any sign of spoilage that could sicken the hunters miles from camp. She examines the nut cakes for proper binding. Too crumbly and they'll fall apart during travel. Too moist and they'll mold. This quality control happens without laboratories or chemical tests, using senses refined by necessity. With their bodies fueled, the hunters turn to their most critical tools, the weapons that mean the difference between successful hunt and family hunger. But these aren't simply tools pulled from storage. Each weapon represents hours of careful creation and maintenance, precision engineering using only materials provided by nature. Drak's primary spear embodies technological sophistication that would impress modern engineers. The shaft, carved from young ash wood, was selected from hundreds of potential branches based on specific criteria. It needed to be perfectly straight, free from knots or weak spots, with grain running consistently from tip to base. This selection process alone took days of searching through forests. The wood was then seasoned over an entire summer, slowly dried while being periodically straightened over fire. Too fast, and the wood would crack. Too slow, and it might rot. The process required constant attention, checking the wood daily, making minute adjustments to maintain perfect straightness as moisture levels changed. The spear point represents even more complex engineering. Crafted from high-quality flint obtained through trade networks spanning hundreds of miles, it required a master knapper's skills to create. The knapping process itself is a conversation between human intelligence and stone structure, reading the rock's internal stresses, predicting how each strike will propagate fractures, removing precisely the right flakes to create a razor-sharp edge. I watch as Drak examines his spear point with the intensity of a surgeon checking surgical instruments. He turns it slowly in the firelight, looking for hairline cracks that might cause failure at the crucial moment. He tests the binding where the stone meets the wood shaft, ensuring the pine pitch and sinew wrapping remain secure. A loose spear point doesn't just mean a missed shot. It could mean the difference between eating and starving. The spear's balance receives equal attention. Drak hefts the weapon, feeling for the perfect equilibrium that allows accurate throws at distances up to 30 yards. Too heavy at the point and the spear drops short. Too light and it lacks penetrating power. This balance was achieved through careful weight distribution during the shaft's creation and can only be verified through endless practice. But the spear is just one component of a complex weapon system. Drak carries 3 additional spear points wrapped in soft leather, ready to replace a damaged primary point within minutes. He has a short spear designed for close quarters fighting if a wounded animal charges, a throwing stick for smaller game or as a backup weapon, a heavy knife for processing kills. Each weapon tells stories of its creation and use. The knife's handle, carved from antler, bears the polished grooves of countless hours of use. The throwing stick shows the wear patterns of accurate throws and successful kills. These aren't mass-produced items replaced when broken, but irreplaceable tools representing significant investments of time and skill. Kree's weapons tell different stories, His preferred spear is slightly lighter than Drax's, designed for his throwing style that emphasizes accuracy over raw power. His knife carries a different edge geometry, optimized for the detailed skinning work he performs better than anyone in the band. His atlatl, the spear-throwing lever that doubles throwing range and power, bears intricate carvings that serve both decorative and functional purposes, providing better grip in wet conditions. Young Tam carries scaled-down versions of adult weapons, but these aren't toys. His small spear can kill rabbits and birds effectively. His knife, while shorter than adult versions, maintains the same edge geometry and sharpness standards. He's learning to use real weapons, because toy substitutes won't teach the precision required for survival. The weapons maintenance that happens each morning would consume hours in modern hunting situations. Every edge is checked for sharpness and honed if needed using special abrasive stones. Bindings are tightened or replaced. Wood surfaces are treated with protective oils rendered from animal fats. Metal doesn't exist here, so wooden and bone components receive the obsessive care that modern hunters give only to the finest firearms. This maintenance isn't just practical, but spiritual. Each weapon carries the spirits of animals that contributed materials, the ash tree that gave the shaft, the flint deposit that provided stone, the deer that supplied sinew. Honoring these spirits through careful weapon care ensures their continued cooperation in the hunt. The hunters emerge from their shelter into a world that serves as their library, newspaper, internet, and GPS system all combined. But reading this information requires skills that modern humans have almost entirely lost. The ability to extract meaning from subtle natural signs invisible to civilized eyes. The frost patterns on nearby leaves immediately provide weather intelligence. The way crystals form during the night reveals not just current conditions, but tomorrow's likely weather. Drac can predict rain 2 days in advance by reading these crystalline messages, allowing the band to prepare shelter and adjust hunting strategies accordingly. The ground itself tells stories written in a language of tracks, scents, and disturbances. Here, where a patch of grass lies flattened, a deer bedded down during the night. The shape of the depression indicates the animal's size and health. The direction it faced when rising shows wind patterns and the location of perceived threats. Even the deer's urine and droppings provide information. Diet, health status, reproductive condition. But reading tracks requires understanding that goes far beyond simple identification. Drac examines a deer print and sees not just deer was here, but a complex narrative. The depth of the print compared to others reveals the animal's weight. The length of stride indicates whether it was walking leisurely or hurrying. The sharpness of edges tells him how recently the track was made. Fresh prints have crisp edges, while older tracks show signs of weather erosion. The surrounding vegetation provides equally detailed information. Browsed twigs show feeding patterns and preferred foods. The height of browsing indicates herd size. More animals mean they must reach higher for food. Broken branches suggest escape routes used when the herd was startled. Even the absence of browsing in certain areas tells stories about predator movements that keep prey animals away. Scent marks invisible to modern humans practically scream information to these hunters. Urine scents reveal territorial boundaries, mating status, and stress levels. The musk from scent glands tells them which individual animals pass this way. Even old scents provide data. Faded marks indicate seasonal movement patterns that help predict where animals will be next. Cree specializes in reading bird sign, information that provides early warning of both prey and predator movements. The sudden silence of songbirds indicates a predator's approach. Certain bird calls that sound natural to untrained ears carry specific meanings when interpreted correctly. Crows mobbing something unseen might indicate carrion that could provide an easy meal, or suggest the presence of a large predator the hunters should avoid. The trees themselves contribute to this information network. Scratched bark shows where deer rubbed antlers or bears marked territory. Broken branches at specific heights indicate which animals passed underneath. Even the pattern of fallen leaves provides data. Areas where leaves have been disturbed show recent animal activity, while undisturbed patches suggest paths animals avoid. Water sources serve as information centers where multiple storylines converge. Stream banks preserve the clearest tracks, showing not just what animals came to drink, but their behavior while there. Nervous animals leave different track patterns than relaxed ones. Predators hunting near water create disturbances that persist for days. The clarity of the water itself indicates recent rainfall levels and upstream conditions. As they move through the forest, each hunter contributes specialized knowledge. Drac reads the large predator signs that could threaten their safety. Cree interprets the small animal tracks that might indicate easy protein sources. Even young Tam contributes, his keen eyes spotting details adults might miss. The unusual coloration of leaves that indicates valuable medicinal plants. The tiny scratches on bark that show where squirrels have cached nuts. This information gathering happens continuously, automatically, like you might unconsciously monitor traffic conditions while driving. But unlike modern information overload, every piece of data they collect directly affects survival. Learning to read these signs requires years of training, starting in early childhood and continuing throughout life. By adulthood, their ability to extract meaning from natural signs rivals any modern technology for relevant environmental intelligence. The landscape also serves as their communication network. Bent branches arranged in specific patterns indicate messages from other band members. Stone cairns mark important locations or hazards. Even the arrangement of animal bones from previous meals carries meaning, indicating successful hunting spots or warning of depleted areas. As they begin moving toward the hunting grounds, I observe the profound psychological transformation that occurs within these men. Modern hunters might focus primarily on mechanics, equipment function, shooting accuracy, game laws. These hunters undergo a complete mental shift that affects every aspect of their consciousness. The transformation begins with what they call becoming invisible, not physical camouflage, though they certainly use that, but a fundamental change in mental state that affects how they move through the world. Their walking rhythm shifts to match natural forest sounds. Their breathing synchronizes with wind patterns. Even their thought patterns change, becoming more intuitive and less analytical. Drac's face changes as he enters hunting consciousness. The social expressions of camp life, smiles, casual conversation, family warmth, fade into intense focus. His eyes move constantly, but without obvious searching, taking in everything with peripheral awareness while maintaining forward movement. This isn't tension, but rather relaxed alertness, like a martial artist in perfect readiness. The psychological preparation includes what modern sports psychologists might recognize as visualization. But their mental rehearsal goes beyond imagining successful shots. They visualize the entire hunt sequence, approaching prey undetected, reading animal behavior for the perfect moment, coordinating with other hunters, dealing with wounded animals, processing the kill efficiently. They also prepare mentally for failure. Hunting success rates, even for these expert hunters, hover around 30%. Most hunts end without kills, and the hunters must maintain psychological resilience in the face of repeated failure. They develop what might be called hunting patience, the ability to maintain full alertness and optimism despite long periods of fruitless effort. The mental state includes spiritual preparation that modern hunters rarely consider. They begin communicating with the spirits of prey animals, asking permission to take life in exchange for honoring the animal's sacrifice. This isn't superstition, but practical psychology. Maintaining respectful attitude toward prey affects hunting behavior in subtle ways that improve success rates. Fear management represents another crucial psychological component. Despite their skills, these hunters face genuine dangers. Wounded large animals can kill humans easily. Weather changes can trap hunters far from shelter. Getting lost, though rare, could mean death. They must maintain courage while respecting the legitimate dangers, a delicate psychological balance. The group psychology during hunts differs dramatically from their camp social dynamics. The casual conversations, jokes, and family warmth disappear, replaced by intense cooperation focused on a single goal. They communicate in whispers or hand signals, but the connection between them becomes almost telepathic in its precision. Tam observes this psychological transformation with fascination and growing understanding. He's learning that successful hunting requires more than physical skills or technical knowledge. The mental discipline, emotional control, and spiritual preparation are equally important. His own psychology begins shifting, though less dramatically than the adults. The hunters also manage what might be called predator anxiety, the constant background awareness that they are not the only hunters in the forest. Large predators like cave bears or lions could view humans as either threats or prey. This awareness affects their movement patterns, route selection, and emergency preparedness without creating paralyzing fear. While the men prepare for their hunt, I drift to observe the equally complex expedition being organized by the women. Modern gender stereotypes might suggest their gathering work is somehow less challenging or sophisticated than hunting, but this perception dissolves quickly when witnessing their actual activities. Ashka leads this expedition with authority equal to any hunting leader. Her knowledge of edible plants, medicinal herbs, seasonal availability, and gathering techniques represents decades of accumulated learning. She carries in her memory what would fill volumes of modern botanical and pharmacological reference books. Her equipment might appear simple to modern eyes: woven baskets, digging sticks, stone knives. But each tool represents sophisticated engineering. The baskets are woven in patterns that maximize strength while minimizing weight, using plant fibers selected for specific properties. The digging sticks are carved and fire-hardened to penetrate frozen ground without breaking. The knives maintain edges sharp enough to slice paper-thin sections from roots and bark. The morning briefing among the women covers intelligence as detailed as the men's hunting plans. Ashka shares observations about plant maturation rates, locations of previously untapped food sources, areas where medicinal plants might be found. The women contribute their own knowledge, signs of insect activity that indicates plant health, weather patterns that affect root development, animal signs that suggest competition for plant foods. Iska, at 14, represents the next generation of gathering expertise. She carries her own smaller versions of adult tools and knows the locations and uses of over 200 plant species. But her education goes far beyond simple identification. She's learning the complex timing of harvest, when plants contain maximum nutrition, when medicinal compounds reach peak concentration, when gathering won't damage the plant's ability to regenerate. Baby Kes travels with his mother in a carrying system that represents sophisticated portable technology. The carrier distributes weight evenly across Ashka's shoulders and hips, allowing long-distance travel without fatigue. Soft deer hide provides comfort against the baby's skin, while leather straps offer adjustable support. The entire system can be removed or adjusted quickly for nursing or diaper changes. The women's route planning considers factors invisible to casual observers. They know which areas have been recently gathered by other band members, avoiding over-harvesting that could damage future food supplies. They understand seasonal variations, where to find winter-available foods that haven't been discovered by other gatherers. They plan their movements to take advantage of microclimates that extend growing seasons or preserve foods longer. Their gathering strategy also includes contingency planning for various scenarios. If primary food sources prove unavailable, they know alternative locations for similar resources. If weather changes threaten their safety, they have predetermined shelter locations. If they encounter other bands, they know protocols for sharing information about food sources or avoiding conflicts. The psychological preparation for gathering differs from hunting, but involves equal complexity. The women must maintain awareness of their surroundings while focusing intensively on detailed plant identification. They need patience for the slow, methodical work of root digging or careful fruit harvesting. They must manage the physical discomfort of spending hours in uncomfortable positions while performing detailed manual work. Ashka teaches through constant example and commentary. She shows Iska how to test soil moisture to predict root development. She demonstrates techniques for efficient berry picking that maximize harvest while minimizing plant damage. She explains the subtle signs that indicate whether plants are ready for harvest or need more growing time. The women's gathering tools embody technology refined through thousands of years of experimental development. Each implement serves multiple functions and represents optimal design for its intended uses. Ashka's primary digging stick looks deceptively simple. A straight piece of hardwood about 3 feet long, fire sharpened to a point, with a footrest carved near the bottom. But this tool required days to create properly. The wood was selected for its specific combination of hardness and flexibility. The shaping was done gradually to avoid creating weak points. The fire hardening process demands precise temperature control to strengthen the point without making it brittle. This single tool serves as shovel, pry bar, measuring stick, walking staff, and defensive weapon. The footrest allows Ashka to drive the point deep into frozen ground, using her body weight. The length provides mechanical advantage for prying up stubborn roots. Hash marks carved into the shaft serve as measuring devices for determining root depth. The weight and balance make it effective for defending against small predators. Her gathering basket represents textile engineering that wouldn't be surpassed until the industrial age. Woven from willow shoots gathered during the optimal season, treated with natural preservatives, and constructed in patterns that distribute stress evenly, it can carry 40 pounds of gathered materials without failure. The weaving pattern creates a surface that won't snag on thorns or branches, while the rim construction prevents tearing even when overfilled. The basket also incorporates features that improve gathering efficiency. Internal dividers keep different types of gathered materials separated. A waterproof liner made from cleaned animal bladder allows transport of liquids or wet materials. Attachment points for securing the basket to carrying frames free the hands for detailed gathering work. Ashka's processing tools are equally sophisticated. Her main knife, napped from high-quality chert, maintains an edge sharp enough to slice individual plant fibers. The handle, wrapped with sinew for secure grip, provides precise control during delicate operations. She carries additional smaller blades for specific tasks, a thin knife for peeling bark, a curved blade for cutting tough stems, a serrated edge for sawing through fibrous materials. Stone tools might seem primitive compared to modern metal implements, but they offer advantages modern tools lack. Stone edges can be made far sharper than steel, sharp enough to cut individual cells without crushing surrounding tissue. This precision proves crucial when harvesting medicinal plants, where active compounds might be destroyed by cell damage. Stone tools also don't rust, don't require sharpening with external materials, and can be repaired or replaced using materials available anywhere. The women carry specialized tools for specific gathering tasks. Root lifters, thin, flat implements for extracting tubers without damage. Bark peelers, designed to remove outer bark while preserving inner cambium layers. Seed beaters, for harvesting grass seeds efficiently. Berry rakes that stripped fruit from branches without destroying the plant. As the women move through the forest, Ashka demonstrates knowledge that rivals modern pharmacology. She identifies plants not just for food, but for their medicinal properties, understanding dosages, preparations, and applications that represent thousands of years of accumulated medical knowledge. A patch of willow trees growing near the stream provides raw material for pain relief. Ashka shows Iska how to identify the correct species. Not all willows contain equal concentrations of the compounds that become aspirin. She demonstrates the proper bark harvesting technique that extracts medicine without killing the tree, and explains the preparation methods that maximize therapeutic effectiveness. The willow bark must be harvested from specific parts of the tree during particular seasons when active compounds reach peak concentrations. Inner bark contains higher concentrations than outer bark. Younger branches provide more potent medicine than older wood. Spring harvest yields different chemical profiles than autumn gathering. Ashka carries this complex knowledge in memory, along with similar information for hundreds of other medicinal plants. But plant medicine involves more than simple active compound extraction. Ashka understands drug interactions, dosage calculations, and preparation methods that affect therapeutic outcomes. She knows which plants enhance the effects of others and which combinations prove dangerous. She can calculate dosages based on patient body weight, age, and condition severity using mental mathematics refined through decades of practice. She finds a stand of echinacea, the purple coneflower that modern herbalists prize for immune system support. But Ashka's knowledge goes far beyond simple. Echinacea boosts immunity. She knows that different parts of the plant provide different therapeutic effects. The roots contain compounds that fight bacterial infections. The flowers provide immune system stimulation. The leaves offer antiviral properties. Each part requires different preparation methods and dosage calculations. The harvesting technique preserves the plant's ability to regenerate while maximizing medicine quality. She takes only every third plant from a stand, ensuring population survival. She harvests roots only from mature plants, leaving younger ones to grow. She times her harvest to coincide with peak compound concentrations, different for each plant part and each intended use. Iska learns through hands-on experience guided by detailed explanation. She practices identifying plants by multiple characteristics: leaf shape, flower structure, root formation, seasonal changes, habitat preferences. She learns to recognize not just healthy plants, but disease specimens that might contain reduced active compounds or dangerous contamination. The preparation techniques require as much skill as the identification. Different compounds extract best in different media, some in water, others in oils, still others in alcohol-based preparations. Heat affects compound stability differently for each plant. Some medicines work best fresh, while others improve with aging or fermentation. Ashka's medicine bag contains tools specifically designed for plant processing, stone mortars and pestles for grinding dried materials, leather pouches for storing different types of preparations, clay containers that won't react with acidic compounds, bone needles for making infusions. Each tool serves specific functions in the complex process of converting raw plants into effective medicines. She also carries reference materials in the form of prepared samples, small amounts of various plant medicines, carefully labeled with symbols carved into leather tags, allow her to compare fresh specimens with known standards. These samples also serve as emergency medications, small amounts of powerful medicines that could save lives during crises. The Women's Gathering Expedition demonstrates understanding of ecological principles that modern environmental science has only recently rediscovered. Their harvesting practices maintain sustainable yields while preserving biodiversity and ecosystem health. Ashka's approach to gathering follows rules developed through generations of observation and experimentation. She never harvests more than 1/3 of any plant population, ensuring regeneration capacity. She rotates gathering areas, allowing previously harvested locations to recover before returning. She collects seeds from the healthiest plants and scatters them in suitable habitats, actively managing forest productivity. Her understanding of plant succession allows her to predict and influence forest development. She knows which trees will succeed others in clearing areas, which understory plants thrive under different canopy conditions, and how to encourage the growth of useful species through selective harvesting and seed dispersal. This knowledge allows her to gradually modify the forest composition around their territory, increasing the abundance of useful plants without obvious intervention. The women understand symbiotic relationships between different species and use this knowledge to locate desired plants. Certain mushrooms grow only in association with specific trees. Some medicinal plants thrive in soil enriched by particular animals. Other species indicate soil conditions suitable for different types of useful plants. Reading these ecological indicators allows efficient location of target species. They also understand seasonal and annual cycles that affect plant availability and quality. Multi-year cycles influence nut production in oak trees. Weather patterns from previous seasons affect root development in perennial plants. Understanding these longer-term cycles allows prediction of food availability and planning of gathering strategies months or years in advance. The women's activities actually improve ecosystem health through their gathering practices. Their selective harvesting removes diseased or weak plants, improving overall population fitness. Their seed dispersal activities increase genetic diversity and expand useful plant populations. Their creation of small clearings for processing work provides habitat diversity that benefits multiple species. Ashka teaches Iska to read the forest as an integrated system rather than a collection of individual plants. Changes in one species indicate changes in others. Environmental stresses affecting trees will also affect understory plants. Animal population changes influence plant communities through altered seed dispersal and browsing patterns. Understanding these connections allows prediction of gathering conditions and adaptation to changing environmental circumstances. Returning to the hunters, I find them deep in the forest, their morning of travel having brought them to the edge of the deer territory their tracking indicated. The transition from travel to active hunting involves another complete psychological transformation, as the men prepare for the climactic moments their morning has been building toward. The deer sign has grown increasingly fresh as they approach the animal's current feeding area. Tracks in soft earth show crisp edges indicating passage within the last 2 hours. Browsing sign on preferred plants appears fresh, with cut stems still showing moisture. The concentration of droppings suggests the herd has been using this area regularly for several days. Drac signals the others to stop while he evaluates the tactical situation. The wind direction remains favorable, carrying their scent away from the likely deer positions. The terrain offers good approaches using natural cover. Multiple escape routes exist if the situation turns dangerous. Most importantly, the deer appear to be feeding calmly rather than moving rapidly, giving the hunters time for careful approach. The hunters prepare their weapons for immediate use. Spear points are checked one final time for security and sharpness. Grips are tested to ensure no slippage during critical moments. Additional weapons are positioned for quick access if needed. Each man verifies his equipment without requiring discussion. These preparations have been practiced countless times until they've become automatic. Young Tam receives his instructions for this phase of the hunt. He will remain in position with the supply packs, ready to assist with tracking wounded animals or provide emergency backup if predators appear. His job requires considerable maturity, staying alert but motionless for potentially hours, ready to respond instantly if needed. For an 8-year-old, this responsibility represents significant trust from the adult hunters. The approach phase begins with movement so slow it's almost imperceptible. Step, pause, listen. Step again. Each placement of foot is considered carefully to avoid breaking twigs, disturbing leaves, or creating sounds that might alert prey. The hunters move with the patience of growing plants, understanding that haste in hunting leads to hunger. Drac uses hand signals to coordinate the approach. 3 fingers indicate the number of deer spotted. A closed fist means stop immediately. Open palm pressed down means lower your profile. Pointed finger indicates direction of movement. This signal system allows complex tactical coordination without any sounds that might betray their presence. The mental state during approach requires extraordinary discipline. Hearts naturally speed up with excitement and adrenaline, but controlled breathing techniques keep physiological arousal from interfering with accuracy. Minds must remain simultaneously alert to immediate tactical needs while maintaining awareness of broader safety concerns. The balance between intense focus and relaxed alertness takes years to develop. Through carefully separated trees, the deer become visible. 3 mature does and a younger buck, feeding on winter browse with a relaxed behavior that indicates they feel secure in their environment. The animals move slowly, raising their heads periodically to scan for threats, but showing none of the tension that would indicate awareness of danger. The hunters begin their final positioning, a process that might take an hour of minute movements to achieve optimal throwing positions. Too close, and the deer will detect them. Too far, and spear accuracy decreases dramatically. The ideal range is about 20 yards, close enough for reliable accuracy, but far enough to avoid detection by the animal's acute senses. The critical moments of the hunt arrive after hours of preparation and approach. Success or failure will be determined in seconds, but those seconds represent the culmination of years of training, preparation, and accumulated knowledge. Drac achieves the optimal position first. A clear throwing lane to the largest doe, stable footing for accurate throw, concealment that prevents detection. He signals to Cree, indicating readiness and identifying his target animal. Coordination is crucial. Simultaneous throws increase success probability by preventing the herd from scattering after the first spear is thrown. The mental preparation for the throw involves complex calculations performed unconsciously by minds trained through thousands of practice sessions, distance estimation, wind speed assessment, target movement prediction, spear trajectory calculation, all completed in fractions of seconds through muscle memory and intuitive understanding developed over years of practice. The deer continue feeding, unaware that their lives hang in balance. In these final moments before the throw, the hunters experience what they call the sacred pause, a moment of spiritual connection with the prey animals, acknowledging the gravity of taking life and asking for success in the hunt that will feed their families. Drac begins his throw with movements so practiced they occur without conscious control. The spear comes back slowly, avoiding sudden motions that might catch the deer's peripheral vision. His body shifts into the throwing stance, perfected through endless repetition. His breathing synchronizes with the throwing rhythm. His eyes lock onto the target point just behind the deer's front shoulder, where the spear must hit to ensure quick, merciful death. The throw itself is poetry in motion. Years of practice have created perfect coordination between muscles, joints, and nervous system. The spear releases at precisely the right moment, with exactly the right velocity and trajectory. Physics takes over, carrying the weapon through its arc toward the target with mathematical precision. 20 yards away, the spear strikes true. The sharp stone point penetrates cleanly, severing vital organs with minimal suffering. The doe staggers briefly and collapses within seconds. The other deer scatter immediately, bounding away through the forest with the explosive speed that often saves their species from predators. Cree's simultaneous throw at a second deer misses by inches as the animal leaps at the critical moment. His spear buries itself harmlessly in the earth beyond the deer's position. In modern hunting, this might be seen as failure, but these hunters understand that success rates in hunting are inherently low. One clean kill from 2 attempts represents a good outcome. The hunters wait motionless for several minutes after the throw, allowing the wounded deer to die peacefully without pursuit stress, and ensuring the other deer have moved far enough away to avoid interference with processing work. This waiting period also allows a verification that the animal is truly dead, rather than merely wounded, a crucial safety consideration when approaching potentially dangerous prey. Drac approaches the fallen deer carefully, spear ready in case the animal isn't fully dead. But his throw was perfect. The deer died quickly with minimal suffering. He kneels beside the carcass and performs the hunter's gratitude ritual, thanking the animal spirit for providing life to his family and promising that all parts will be used respectfully. The successful kill initiates a complex process of field dressing that must be completed quickly and efficiently to prevent meat spoilage and avoid attracting scavengers. This work represents another sophisticated technology: the precise, systematic conversion of a whole animal into portable, preservable resources. Drac's field dressing technique follows procedures refined through generations of experience. His first cut opens the body cavity with surgical precision, avoiding puncture of internal organs that could contaminate the meat. The knife work requires steady hands and detailed anatomical knowledge, understanding exactly where to cut to separate organs cleanly without damaging valuable materials. The internal organs receive careful handling. The heart and liver will be consumed immediately for their concentrated nutrients. The kidneys and other organs will be processed for different uses. Even the stomach contents are examined. Deer are excellent plant selectors, and their stomach contents often contain medicinal plants that can be identified and located for future gathering. Blood collection requires immediate attention to prevent coagulation and waste. They catch blood in clean containers, understanding its value as both food and manufacturing material. Blood can be cooked into nutritious puddings, used as binding agent for other foods, or processed into materials for tool making. Nothing with nutritional or practical value is wasted. The skinning process demonstrates knife skills that would impress modern butchers. The hide must come off in one piece to be useful for clothing and equipment manufacture. Drake's blade follows precise paths that separate skin from meat without cutting holes or creating weak spots in the leather. The technique requires understanding of tissue structure and anatomy that rivals veterinary knowledge. Cree specializes in joint separation, using detailed knowledge of skeletal structure to disassemble the carcass efficiently. His cuts follow natural joint lines, separating bones cleanly without damaging surrounding meat. This technique yields maximum usable meat while providing bones in conditions suitable for tool manufacturing. Even young Tam contributes to the processing work, performing tasks within his skill level while learning through observation. He collects materials that adults might overlook: useful tendons for binding, small bones suitable for detailed tools, even intestinal contents that can provide information about plant availability. His participation ensures learning while providing genuinely useful assistance. The meat cutting follows patterns that optimize preservation and transport. Large muscle groups are separated along natural divisions. Different cuts receive different treatment based on their intended uses. Some for immediate consumption, others for drying, still others for special preparations. Understanding these distinctions requires knowledge of meat science that predates refrigeration by tens of thousands of years. Tool manufacturing begins immediately as useful bones and other materials become available. Antlers are sectioned for different tools. Tips for pressure flakers, main beams for digging implements, bases for handles. Long bones are cracked carefully to extract marrow while preserving the bone structure for tool making. Even hooves are saved for their utility in creating waterproof adhesives. While the hunters process their kill, I return to observe the women's gathering expedition, which has achieved its own type of success through different but equally sophisticated techniques. Ashka's group has filled their containers with a diverse array of foods and materials that will contribute substantially to the band's winter survival. Their success rate in gathering approaches 100%. Unlike hunting, gathering provides predictable returns when practiced by knowledgeable practitioners. The morning's collection includes staple foods that provide caloric foundations for winter nutrition. Hazelnuts, gathered from trees the women have been monitoring for weeks, provide concentrated fats and proteins essential for cold weather metabolism. Acorns, processed to remove bitter tannins, yield carbohydrates that can be stored for months. Various roots and tubers contribute vitamins and minerals often scarce in winter diets. But the gathering success extends beyond basic nutrition. Medicinal plants collected today will treat injuries and illnesses throughout the winter. Fiber plants will provide materials for manufacturing clothing, containers, and tools. Dyeing materials will allow creation of decorative elements that contribute to psychological well-being during long winter months. Ashka demonstrates processing techniques that begin immediately upon collection. Some plants must be processed fresh to prevent spoilage or loss of active compounds. Others require specific drying conditions to maintain quality. Still others benefit from fermentation or other treatments that begin in the field. The women's knowledge includes optimal processing timing for different materials. bark for certain uses must be stripped during specific seasons when it separates easily from underlying wood. Medicinal compounds in some plants reach peak concentrations only during particular weather conditions. Timing this processing correctly can mean the difference between high-quality materials and worthless waste. Iska's education continues through hands-on participation in processing work. She learns techniques for testing plant readiness, feeling texture changes that indicate optimal harvest timing, recognizing color variations that signal chemical changes, understanding how weather conditions affect processing requirements. The baby Kes participates indirectly in the gathering work, carried securely while being exposed to the sights, sounds, and smells of food production. This early exposure begins his education in plant recognition and gathering techniques that will continue throughout his childhood. Even infants in this society begin learning survival skills through environmental exposure. As both groups work on their respective tasks, the sophisticated communication systems that connect band members demonstrate their effectiveness. These communication networks allow coordination across distances and provide safety monitoring that prevents dangerous situations from becoming fatal. The hunters use periodic bird calls to signal their status to anyone within listening range. These calls provide coded information. Hunt successful, location secure, processing proceeding normally. Anyone familiar with the band's communication system can track the hunter's progress and safety status without visual contact. Similarly, the women's group maintains communication protocols that ensure their safety and coordinate with other band members. Ashka uses specific whistle patterns to indicate their location and activities. Different patterns signal different types of success or problems, allowing appropriate responses from other band members who might be within hearing range. The communication system also includes physical markers left for other band members who might pass through the area. Bent branches arranged in coded patterns indicate the direction of travel and general status. Stone cairns mark important discoveries, new food sources, hazards, or useful materials. Scratch symbols on tree bark provide detailed information that can be read by band members for days or weeks after creation. Environmental awareness serves as another communication channel. Both hunters and gatherers monitor natural sounds that indicate the presence and activities of other band members. Changes in bird behavior can indicate human presence in specific areas. Disturbed vegetation patterns show where other humans have passed. Even scent trails can provide information about other band members' locations and activities. This constant communication ensures that band members can locate each other quickly in emergencies, while maintaining the dispersion necessary for efficient resource exploitation. The system provides safety monitoring without requiring constant physical proximity that would reduce gathering efficiency. As afternoon progresses, both groups begin preparing for the return journey to their winter shelter. This transition involves different challenges and requires different skills than the outbound journey, particularly for the hunters who must transport a heavy carcass across difficult terrain. The hunters create a travois, a transport device consisting of two poles with a hide platform stretched between them. This technology allows efficient transport of loads far exceeding human carrying capacity, while remaining simple enough to construct quickly using available materials. The travois design distributes weight effectively and can be dragged by one person, while leaving others free to carry weapons for protection. Loading the travois requires careful weight distribution and secure binding. The heaviest items go toward the front to prevent tipping. Sharp objects are wrapped carefully to prevent damage to the hide platform. Everything is bound securely to prevent shifting during transport, which could cause balance problems or loss of valuable materials. The route selection for the return journey considers different factors than the outbound trip. Now burdened with heavy loads, they must avoid steep terrain and difficult obstacles. The need to move quickly to prevent meat spoilage conflicts with safety requirements for careful travel. Balancing these concerns requires experienced judgment and detailed knowledge of terrain options. The women's return journey involves different challenges. Their gathered materials include fragile items that require careful handling and perishable foods that must reach processing areas quickly. Some medicinal plants lose potency rapidly after harvest, creating time pressures that didn't exist during the outbound journey. ISCA learns load management techniques that allow efficient transport of maximum materials while maintaining mobility and safety. Weight distribution across different carrying containers prevents fatigue and injury. Proper padding protects delicate gathered materials from damage during transport. Efficient packing utilizes all available carrying capacity without creating unwieldy loads. Both groups maintain heightened alertness during the return journey. Carrying valuable food resources makes them attractive targets for both human raiders and animal predators. The reduced mobility caused by heavy loads increases vulnerability to attacks. Successful foraging expeditions often face their greatest dangers during the return journey, when success makes them visible and vulnerable. As both groups near their winter shelter, the psychological dynamics shift once again. The successful completion of foraging expeditions brings relief, satisfaction, and anticipation of sharing success with the extended family, but it also activates new concerns about food security, social obligations, and winter preparation. The hunters experience pride in their successful kill, but this pride is tempered by awareness of ongoing responsibilities. One deer, while significant, will not carry the band through the entire winter. Additional hunting expeditions will be required, each carrying similar risks and uncertainties. Success in hunting creates temporary security, but doesn't eliminate the constant pressure of food acquisition. The successful hunt also triggers social obligations within the band. Certain cuts of meat must be shared with specific individuals based on kinship relations, social status, and reciprocal obligations. The hunters must consider these distributions carefully to maintain band harmony while ensuring their own families receive adequate nutrition. Young Tam experiences the pride of successful participation in adult activities, but this pride comes with growing awareness of the responsibilities he will soon inherit. His successful participation in today's hunt marks his progression toward full hunter status, but it also highlights the skills he still needs to develop and the risks he will soon face independently. The women approach home with satisfaction in their successful gathering, but immediate concerns about processing and preservation. Many of the materials they've collected require immediate attention to prevent spoilage or maintain quality. The return to camp triggers intense work periods as gathered materials are converted into storable forms. Ashka feels the satisfaction of successful resource acquisition, balanced against concerns about winter adequacy. Her gathering expedition, while successful, represents just one day's work in the ongoing struggle to accumulate sufficient resources for winter survival. Each successful day reduces winter anxiety slightly, while highlighting the magnitude of remaining needs. The baby Kes has experienced his first major foraging expedition, exposed to environments and activities that begin his education and survival skills. While too young for conscious learning, his brain has been recording sensory experiences that will contribute to his developing understanding of the natural world and resource acquisition techniques. As both groups approach their winter shelter, I'm struck again by the sophisticated architecture that provides comfort and safety in one of Earth's most challenging environments. This isn't a crude cave or simple lean-to, but a carefully engineered living space that demonstrates advanced understanding of thermodynamics, materials science, and human comfort requirements. The shelter combines natural rock formations with human construction to create what modern engineers would recognize as an effective architectural solution. The rock overhang provides basic weather protection and structural support, while human additions create climate control, privacy, and specialized work areas. The entrance system functions like an airlock, preventing heat loss while allowing access. Multiple hide flaps create barriers that must be navigated sequentially, ensuring that cold air doesn't rush directly into the living space when people enter or leave. This system maintains interior temperatures significantly above outside conditions without requiring constant fuel input. The interior space organization reflects sophisticated understanding of human social needs and practical requirements. The central hearth provides heat, light, and cooking capabilities, while serving as the social focus of family life. Sleeping areas radiate outward from the hearth, taking advantage of temperature gradients to provide individual climate preferences within the shared space. Storage systems within the shelter protect valuable resources while maintaining organization necessary for efficient daily life. Different storage areas serve different purposes. Dry storage for materials vulnerable to moisture, cold storage for foods that benefit from low temperatures, secure storage for valuable tools, and materials that require protection from damage or theft. The ventilation system prevents smoke accumulation while maintaining temperature control. Carefully positioned openings create air circulation patterns that remove smoke and stale air while minimizing heat loss. Understanding these airflow patterns requires knowledge of physics principles that wouldn't be formally described by science for thousands of years. Sleeping systems provide comfort that might surprise modern observers. Layered bedding creates insulation from ground cold while providing cushioning and warmth. Fur blankets trap body heat effectively while remaining lightweight and compressible. Individual sleeping areas are shaped to fit specific family members, providing personalized comfort in the shared space. Work areas within the shelter allow continued productivity during weather that prevents outdoor activities. Tool manufacturing, hide processing, food preparation, and craft production can continue regardless of external conditions. Specialized lighting, storage, and ventilation serve these different work activities, creating productive indoor environments. The return of both successful foraging groups triggers intense activity, as raw materials must be processed quickly to prevent spoilage and prepare them for long-term storage. This processing work demonstrates industrial-scale food production and materials manufacturing using only human labor and simple tools. The deer processing continues with systematic breakdown of the carcass into different products for various uses. Meat cutting follows patterns that optimize both immediate consumption and long-term preservation. Different cuts receive different treatments, some for immediate cooking, others for drying into winter-preserved food, still others for special processing into concentrated travel rations. Hide processing begins immediately to prevent spoilage that could ruin this valuable material. The hide is stretched on a wooden frame that maintains uniform tension, while allowing access for cleaning and treatment. Scraping tools remove tissue remnants and begin the process of preparing the hide for tanning. This work requires strength, skill, and attention to detail that produces leather superior to many modern products. Bone processing yields materials for tool manufacturing that will occupy craftspeople throughout the winter. Different bones serve different purposes based on their size, shape, and structural properties. Long bones become tool handles and shafts. Flat bones become cutting implements and scrapers. Joint bones provide materials for specialized tools requiring specific shapes. The women's gathered materials receive equally intensive processing attention. Nuts must be shelled efficiently while preserving maximum meat content. Berries require cleaning, sorting, and preparation for various preservation methods. Medicinal plants need processing that maintains active compound concentrations while allowing long-term storage. Root vegetables undergo complex processing that removes toxins, improves digestibility, and creates storable forms. Some roots require grinding into flour that can be stored in waterproof containers. Others benefit from fermentation processes that improve nutritional value while extending storage life. Still others are processed into concentrated forms that provide maximum nutrition in minimum volume. Fiber processing begins the conversion of plant materials into cordage, textiles, and manufactured goods that will be essential for winter survival. Different plants yield fibers with different properties, some for fine work requiring flexibility, others for heavy-duty applications requiring strength. Processing techniques extract these fibers while maintaining their useful properties. The processing work involves the entire band, with tasks distributed based on skill levels and physical capabilities. Children perform simple but essential tasks that contribute to overall productivity while teaching them processing skills. Adults handle complex tasks requiring experience and judgment. Elders provide supervision and quality control that ensures products meet standards necessary for winter survival. As processed foods and materials become available, the complex social systems that govern resource distribution within the band come into operation. These systems ensure equitable sharing while maintaining incentives for productive work and reinforcing social bonds necessary for band survival. The meat distribution follows traditional patterns that reflect kinship relationships, social obligations, and practical considerations. The hunters' families receive primary shares as rewards for the risks and efforts of hunting, but significant portions go to others based on different criteria. Elders receive choice cuts in recognition of their wisdom and past contributions. Pregnant women get organ meats rich in nutrients essential for fetal development. Children receive portions appropriate for their nutritional needs. The sharing extends beyond simple food distribution to include social recognition and status acknowledgement. Successful hunters gain prestige that affects their influence in band decisions and their attractiveness as mates or allies. But this prestige comes with obligations. Successful hunters are expected to share generously and to take leadership roles in future resource acquisition efforts. The women's gathered materials undergo similar distribution patterns, but with different social dynamics. Gathering success doesn't carry the same prestige as hunting success, but it provides different types of social benefits. Women who consistently find valuable medicinal plants gain status as healers. Those who excel at fiber processing become recognized as manufacturers of high-quality goods. Gift exchanges accompany the resource sharing, creating and reinforcing social bonds that extend beyond immediate family groups. Small presents, particularly well-made tools, decorative items, or rare materials, circulate among band members in patterns that create networks of mutual obligation and reciprocal support. These exchanges serve economic functions similar to banking or insurance systems in modern societies. Band members who share generously during times of plenty can expect reciprocal support during periods of need. The gift networks create social safety nets that help individuals survive temporary setbacks while maintaining overall band stability. Children observe and gradually participate in these sharing systems, learning social protocols that will govern their adult relationships. They begin to understand concepts of reciprocity, obligation, and fairness that regulate resource distribution. These lessons are essential for their successful integration into adult social systems. The sharing also includes knowledge transfer, as successful foragers share information about resource locations, techniques, and timing with other band members. This knowledge sharing increases overall band success rates while creating social bonds between individuals with complementary skills. The evening meal, prepared from the day's successful foraging, represents far more than simple nutrition. It functions as a cultural institution that reinforces social bonds, transmits knowledge, resolves conflicts, and provides psychological comfort that maintains band cohesion during challenging times. Food preparation becomes a communal activity involving multiple family groups and skill specialties. Different individuals contribute different elements to the meal based on their expertise and available materials. The coordination required for meal preparation strengthens social cooperation and communication skills essential for band survival. Cooking techniques demonstrate sophisticated understanding of nutrition, food safety, and flavor enhancement. Multiple cooking methods are employed simultaneously: roasting over direct heat, boiling in hide containers using hot stones, steaming in leaf wrappings, smoking for preservation. Each technique is chosen based on the specific properties of different foods and desired outcomes. The meal preparation timing requires coordination comparable to professional kitchen operations. Different foods have different preparation times and optimal cooking conditions. Coordinating multiple cooking processes to produce a meal where everything reaches completion simultaneously requires experience, communication, and teamwork that modern families rarely develop. Seasoning and flavoring use wild herbs, salt from trade networks, and fermented products that enhance both taste and nutritional value. The flavor combinations represent culinary traditions developed through generations of experimentation and refinement. These traditional recipes often provide optimal nutrition combinations that modern nutritional science has only recently begun to understand. The serving protocols reflect social hierarchies and cultural values, while ensuring equitable distribution of available food. Elders are served first in recognition of their wisdom and contributions. Children receive special attention to ensure adequate nutrition during crucial developmental periods. Pregnant and nursing women get priority access to foods rich in nutrients essential for reproduction and childcare. Eating implements and serving containers demonstrate sophisticated manufacturing techniques and artistic sensibilities. Carved wooden bowls provide individual serving containers, while carved spoons and other utensils allow efficient food consumption. These items often include decorative elements that serve aesthetic functions beyond mere utility. The meal conversation serves educational, entertainment, and social bonding functions. Stories told during meals encode important survival information in memorable narrative forms. Discussions of the day's activities provide opportunities for knowledge sharing and social coordination. Jokes and casual conversation provide psychological relief from survival stresses. As the meal concludes and darkness deepens, the band transitions into evening activities that combine entertainment with education, social bonding with skill development. These activities demonstrate sophisticated understanding of human psychological needs and effective teaching methods. Music begins spontaneously as individuals bring out instruments crafted during previous winter months. Flutes carved from bird bones produce haunting melodies that enhance the evening's peaceful atmosphere. Drums created from stretched hides provide rhythmic accompaniment that encourages participation from all age groups. The musical traditions include songs that serve multiple functions beyond entertainment. Work songs coordinate group activities and make repetitive tasks more enjoyable. Healing songs are believed to enhance medical treatments and speed recovery from injuries or illnesses. Teaching songs encode important information in memorable forms that assist learning and knowledge retention. Storytelling represents another sophisticated entertainment and education system. Different individuals specialize in different types of stories. Hunting adventures, mythological tales, historical accounts of band experiences, instructional narratives that encode survival skills. The storytelling style uses dramatic techniques that maintain audience attention while conveying important information. Children participate in evening activities through games that teach skills essential for adult survival, while providing entertainment that maintains their interest. String games develop fine motor control while teaching mathematical concepts. Physical games improve coordination and strength, while encouraging competition that motivates skill development. Riddle games enhance logical thinking and memory skills. Adult competitions provide entertainment while maintaining and improving essential skills. Accuracy contests with throwing weapons keep hunting skills sharp during periods when active hunting isn't possible. Craft competitions encourage innovation and skill development in tool-making and artistic production. These competitions also provide social recognition for excellence in various specialties. Dance represents another form of entertainment that serves multiple functions. Religious dances are believed to influence supernatural forces that affect hunting success, weather patterns, and community health. Social dances reinforce band unity while providing appropriate outlets for romantic attraction and mate selection. Teaching dances encode survival information in kinesthetic forms that enhance learning effectiveness. As evening activities wind down, the band prepares for sleep using practices that demonstrate sophisticated understanding of sleep hygiene, comfort optimization, and safety requirements. Their approach to sleep preparation ensures rest quality that maintains health and alertness essential for survival. Sleeping area preparation involves careful attention to temperature, comfort, and safety considerations. Individual sleeping spaces are arranged to take advantage of heat distribution from the central fire while maintaining personal comfort preferences. Bedding systems provide insulation from ground cold while allowing body heat retention without overheating. The fire management for nighttime requires balancing fuel conservation with heat maintenance and safety requirements. Specific woods are selected for their slow-burning properties and pleasant aroma that enhances sleep quality. The fire is banked in patterns that provide steady heat throughout the night, while minimizing fuel consumption and fire hazards. Sleep scheduling accommodates both individual circadian rhythms and community security needs. Different individuals maintain different levels of alertness throughout the night, providing natural security monitoring without requiring formal guard duty assignments. This system ensures community safety while allowing adequate rest for all band members. Bedtime routines include practices that promote sleep quality and psychological comfort. Personal hygiene activities using natural materials maintain cleanliness that affects both health and social relationships. Relaxation techniques help individuals transition from daily activities to restful sleep. Social interactions provide emotional comfort that reduces anxiety and promotes peaceful rest. Children's bedtime routines receive special attention to ensure adequate sleep for healthy development. Bedtime stories provide entertainment while reinforcing cultural values and survival knowledge. Physical comfort measures ensure warmth and security that allow peaceful sleep despite environmental challenges. Parental presence provides psychological comfort that reduces nighttime fears and anxiety. Sleep positions and arrangements reflect both comfort preferences and practical requirements. Family groups sleep in clusters that provide mutual warmth while maintaining individual sleeping space. Personal possessions are arranged for quick access if needed during nighttime emergencies. Weapons are positioned for immediate availability while remaining secure from accidental access by children. The night environment brings different sounds and potential hazards that require continued awareness even during rest periods. The band's response to nighttime conditions demonstrates sophisticated understanding of nocturnal ecology and appropriate safety measures. Natural night sounds provide information about environmental conditions and potential threats. Owl calls indicate successful nocturnal hunting that suggests adequate small mammal populations. Wolf howls provide information about pack locations and hunting activities that could affect human safety. Changes in insect activity levels indicate weather changes that might require shelter adjustments. The band members develop expertise in distinguishing between normal night sounds and indicators of potential problems. Sudden silence often indicates predator presence that could threaten human safety. Unusual animal vocalizations might indicate distress that suggests environmental hazards. Changes in wind patterns could indicate weather changes requiring shelter modifications. Night vision adaptation allows effective functioning in low light conditions without artificial illumination. Eyes adapted to firelight maintain better night vision than those exposed to bright artificial lighting. This adaptation allows navigation and basic tasks during nighttime hours, without compromising stealth or attracting unwanted attention. Safety protocols for nighttime emergencies ensure appropriate responses to various potential threats. Predator encounters require specific response patterns that maximize safety while minimizing risk to community members. Weather emergencies might require rapid shelter modifications or evacuation procedures. Medical emergencies during nighttime hours require protocols that provide effective treatment under difficult conditions. Sleep disruptions are handled in ways that minimize impact on overall rest quality while addressing legitimate concerns. Nightmare-induced awakening receives appropriate comfort and reassurance. Bathroom needs are accommodated efficiently without creating safety risks or disturbing other sleepers. Illness symptoms receive immediate attention to prevent spread to other community members. The dream experiences of band members reflect their daily realities while serving psychological functions that support mental health and problem-solving abilities. Dream interpretation and sharing represent sophisticated understanding of unconscious mental processes and their practical applications. Hunting dreams often provide mental practice for real hunting situations while processing the psychological stresses associated with taking animal life. Successful hunters frequently dream about their prey, working through the emotional complexities of killing animals while maintaining respectful relationships with animal spirits. Gathering dreams might feature discoveries of valuable plants or materials, reflecting both wishful thinking and actual memory consolidation of plant knowledge. Women often dream about plant locations, processing techniques, or medicinal applications that prove useful in waking life. These dreams represent unconscious problem solving that complements conscious learning. Prophetic dreams are taken seriously as sources of information about future events or current situations not yet consciously recognized. Dreams that predict weather changes, animal behavior, or human conflicts often prove accurate enough to influence ban decisions. This predictive accuracy might result from unconscious processing of environmental cues that haven't reached conscious awareness. Nightmare experiences reflect legitimate fears and anxieties about survival challenges, social conflicts, or potential threats. These dreams serve stress relief functions while helping individuals mentally prepare for actual emergency situations. Sharing and discussing nightmares provides social support while allowing community evaluation of potential threats. Children's dreams often feature learning experiences that reinforce daily education in survival skills and cultural knowledge. Dreams about successful hunting or gathering provide psychological preparation for adult roles while building confidence in developing abilities. Nightmares about dangers help children mentally prepare for real hazards they might encounter. Dream sharing during morning conversations serves multiple social and psychological functions. Discussing dreams provides emotional support and stress relief, while allowing community analysis of potential threats or opportunities suggested by dream content. This sharing also reinforces social bonds and cultural transmission of traditional knowledge about dream interpretation. Unlike modern compressed sleep schedules, the band practices natural sleep patterns that include multiple sleep periods separated by quiet waking intervals. These segmented sleep patterns align with natural circadian rhythms while providing opportunities for activities not possible during busy daylight hours. The first sleep period, beginning shortly after sunset, provides deep rest that recovers from the day's physical activities. This initial sleep is often the deepest and most restorative, allowing physical recovery from hunting, gathering, and processing work. The duration varies seasonally, with longer first sleep periods during winter months when nights are longest. The quiet wake period, occurring naturally around midnight, provides time for intimate conversations, personal reflection, and activities requiring calm concentration. Couples use this time for private conversation and physical intimacy, without the distractions of daily survival tasks. Individuals might use this time for personal hygiene, equipment maintenance, or quiet craft work. During these midnight hours, creative and spiritual activities often occur. Artistic work benefits from the peaceful atmosphere and freedom from daily pressures. Spiritual practices, including meditation and prayer, find natural expression during these quiet periods. Planning and problem solving often prove more effective during these contemplative hours. The second sleep period continues until natural dawn awakening, providing additional rest while maintaining alignment with natural light cycles. This final sleep often includes the most vivid dreams, which are shared and discussed during morning conversations. The gradual awakening prevents the jarring transition from sleep to full activity that characterizes alarm clock awakening. Child sleep patterns differ from adult patterns, with longer continuous sleep periods that support rapid growth and development. However, children also participate in some midnight activities, gradually developing adult sleep patterns as they mature. This gradual transition helps prepare them for adult responsibilities, while maintaining optimal sleep for healthy development. Seasonal variations in sleep patterns accommodate changing daylight hours and activity requirements. Summer months bring shorter sleep periods and more active nighttime hours, while winter provides longer sleep periods that conserve energy during cold months. These natural adjustments maintain optimal health while adapting to environmental conditions. In these deep night hours, I observe the profound difference between modern and ancestral dream content, where contemporary dreams often feature fragmented images from media consumption and urban anxieties. These dreams emerge from direct engagement with the natural world and immediate survival concerns. Drak dreams of following deer tracks that transform into pathways through starlit forests, his unconscious mind processing the day's hunting experiences while exploring potential future scenarios. In his dream, the tracks glow with soft light, guiding him toward understanding of animal movement patterns that could improve future hunting success. His dream includes conversations with the spirit of the deer he killed today, discussing the reciprocal relationships between hunters and prey that maintain balance in the natural world. These dream dialogues reflect the spiritual dimension of hunting that modern humans rarely experience, the intimate connection between human survival and animal sacrifice. Ashka's dreams blend plant gathering with maternal concerns, featuring scenarios where she discovers healing plants just as her children develop illnesses requiring treatment. Her unconscious mind works through the complex timing required to maintain adequate medicinal supplies while managing childcare responsibilities and seasonal plant availability. Her dreams often include her deceased mother, who continues to teach plant medicine through dream instruction. These teaching dreams sometimes provide genuine insights into plant uses or processing techniques that prove effective in waking life. Whether supernatural communication or unconscious knowledge integration, these dreams serve practical educational functions. Young Tam dreams of animals that speak to him in human language, sharing secrets about forest survival and hunting techniques. His developing understanding of animal behavior manifests in dreams, where animals become teachers, sharing knowledge that helps bridge the gap between human and non-human intelligence. The baby Kes, though too young for complex dreams, experiences sleep patterns filled with sensory integration from his daily exposure to natural environments. His developing brain processes the sounds, smells, and textures of forest life, building neural foundations for future survival skills through unconscious sensory learning. Uma, the grandmother, dreams of past experiences that inform present decisions. Her dreams blend memory with wisdom, revisiting successful survival strategies from previous years that might apply to current challenges. These memory dreams often provide solutions to current problems by connecting present situations with past successes. As the deep of night gives way to the subtle stirrings that precede dawn in the ancient world, I begin to feel our connection to that distant time gently loosening, like the gradual lightening of darkness that calls sleeping minds back toward wakefulness. You have lived through 24 hours in the life of your ancestors, experienced the weight of constant survival pressure, felt the deep satisfaction of providing for family through skill and courage, understood the profound connection between human life and the natural world that sustained it. Their world dissolves slowly around us now, the smoke-scented air of their shelter giving way to the climate-controlled atmosphere of your modern room, the sounds of sleeping family members fading into whatever nighttime sounds surround you now, the sense of belonging to a small band struggling together for survival, transformed back into your individual modern existence. But carry with you the understanding that every convenience you take for granted represents problems they solved through knowledge, cooperation, and ingenuity. Your warm bed exists because they survived cold nights. Your abundant food reflects their success in the ancient struggle to feed their children. Your safety comes from the courage they showed in facing dangers we can barely imagine. Feel yourself settling back into your modern body, lying in comfort that Drak and Ashka could hardly comprehend, surrounded by safety nets and conveniences that make their daily struggles seem almost mythological. Yet you are connected to them by an unbroken chain of survival, learning, and love that stretches back through the centuries. Your ancestors were not primitive people barely surviving in a hostile world. They were humans like you, intelligent, caring, creative individuals who solved complex problems with elegance and efficiency. They loved their children as fiercely as you love yours. They laughed, told jokes, created art, pondered the mysteries of existence, and found meaning in their lives despite constant challenges. Rest now in your comfortable bed, heated without tending fires, soft without hunting animals for fur, safe without spears beside your pillow. But understand that you carry their legacy in more than just your DNA. Every challenge you've overcome, every problem you've solved, every moment of courage in your own life echoes their strength. The satisfaction you feel when completing difficult tasks, that's their hunting success speaking through time. The comfort you find in sharing meals with loved ones, that's their evening gatherings calling across the centuries. The stories you tell your children, the knowledge you pass on, the love you show your family, that's their teaching tradition continuing in new forms. They were not simple people living simple lives. They were complex individuals navigating sophisticated social systems, employing advanced technologies, and demonstrating remarkable adaptability in one of Earth's most challenging environments. They succeeded so completely that their descendants, you, now live in comfort they couldn't imagine. Yet in some ways, they possess things we've lost, deep knowledge earned through direct experience, unbreakable bonds with family and community, daily engagement with the natural world that sustained them, lives where every action had meaning and every person was essential to collective survival. Sleep now, and dream not of what you have that they lacked, but of what they had that might enrich your own life. Connection to the natural world, genuine community interdependence, knowledge gained through patient observation and careful practice, lives fully engaged with immediate reality rather than distracted by artificial concerns. Tomorrow you'll wake to electric lights and manufactured schedules, to processed foods and climate-controlled environments. But tonight, you've walked with your Ice Age ancestors through one precious day of the countless days they lived to make your existence possible. You are more like them than different. Their intelligence flows in your thoughts. Their resilience strengthens your spirit. Their love for their children beats in your own heart. You come from people who faced ice and fang with nothing but knowledge and courage, and triumphed so completely that you can lie here now, safe and warm, listening to stories about the world they survived to create. From that ancient shelter to your modern bedroom, from their world of constant challenge to your world of unprecedented comfort, the human heart remains unchanged. We still seek warmth, safety, love, and meaning under the same eternal stars. We still care for our children, support our communities, and face our fears with whatever courage we can muster. Sweet dreams, child of the Ice Age. You carry within you the strength that conquered glaciers, the wisdom that learned to read the living world, the love that kept families alive through the longest winter Earth has known. Rest well, knowing you come from people who never gave up, and neither will you. From 45,000 years ago to your present peace, from the empty belly moon to your filled and comfortable life, this is the Chrononaut, wishing you gentle dreams of ancestors who live on in every beat of your brave and loving heart. Good night.